A U.S. postal worker in Portland tested positive for coronavirus. The agency confirms the employee works at a processing plant near the airport, where mail is sorted, trucks unloaded, and workers don't come into contact with the public. The Postal Service didn't identify the employee or provide any additional details about their condition. In a statement, a spokesperson said, "We believe the risk is low for employees who work at the Portland Processing and Distribution Center, but we will keep our employees apprised as new information and guidance becomes available." Two Postal Service employees who spoke on the condition of anonymity said the sick employee self-reported and hasn't been to work since March 9th. Several workers were quarantined. Some of them have returned to work. Earlier this month, there was a similar case in the Seattle area.
The U.S. Postal Service just confirmed that one of its employees has also tested positive for the virus.
And the Washington Post reported workers in at least 10 Amazon warehouses around the country have tested positive, although none of those involved Amazon facilities in Oregon or Washington. The recent cases come as postal and package workers cope with a crush of deliveries because people are staying home and ordering online. The Postal Service claims there is no evidence that coronavirus is spreading through the mail, citing research from the Centers for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, as well as the Surgeon General. A recent study found coronavirus could be detected up to 24 hours on cardboard, leading some to wonder if packages delivered on their front porch are safe to handle. If you're worried about it, health experts say you can disinfect the surfaces, wipe them down, but most important of all, wash your hands and avoid touching your face or your mouth before discarding the packaging. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.